Hare Krishna, welcome back, dear devotees, and welcome back, Abhaya Das Brahmachari. He's been away for a while and now he's back in the UK, official. He's got a religious worker visa and soon to be president of Soho Street Temple, Dolamora Prabhu, has preached and on the application preached and it worked. So miracles still happen if we're sincerely trying to glorify the Lord without personal motives. So if we hear without personal motives, but just for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, hearing His pastimes are so powerful that they can remove material conditioning and fix us up in Krishna consciousness. So right here in the live studios, in Hive, which in the Anglo-Saxon language, ancient language, meant haven. We renamed this place the Haven. And anyone who comes here, they realize that it's a very special atmosphere because we're reading every day Srila Prabhupada straight from his books in this room for what, year and 3 months, year 4 months. And it's created this atmosphere. It creates Vrindavan atmosphere wherever you do this. So anyway, welcome back again. Let us recite Srila Sanatana Goswami's glorification of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam because we're right in the thick of the 10th canto now in the Krishna book. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Mahima Stotram. From Sri Krishna Lila Stava, Sanatana Goswami's glorification of Krishna Lila, Vrindavan Lila. It goes like this. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, Sarva Vedaika Satpala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja, Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths. You are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Prabho, Kali Dvanduditaditya, Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya, Prema Varshakshadayate, Sarvada Sarvasevyaya, Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguru Manmahadana Mannistadaka Madbhagya Mad Anandanamostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu sadhutadayin atini chochatakada hanamun chagadachin mam premna rit kantayok spuda. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. Yesterday we read the introduction to the Rasa Leela. And we heard directly from Srila Prabhupada how this is pure spiritual activity. it has nothing to do with lust. The gopis giving themselves to Krishna only for the satisfaction of Krishna. Krishna giving satisfaction to the only for the satisfaction of the gopis. So this is pure love. There's no personal sense gratification involved. Krishna is only 8 years old when this happens. Okay. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we've reached the 30th chapter. Krishna's hiding from the gopis. When Krishna suddenly disappeared from the company of the gopis, they searched for him everywhere. After not finding him anywhere, they became afraid and almost mad after him. They were simply thinking of the pastimes of Krishna in great love and affection. Being absorbed in thought of him, they experienced loss of memory, and with dampened eyes, they began to see the very pastimes of Krishna, his beautiful talks with them, his embracing, kissing, and other activities. Being so attracted to Krishna, they imitated his dancing, his walking, and his smiling, as if they themselves were Krishna. Due to Krishna's absence, they all became crazy. Each one of them told the others that she was Krishna himself. Soon they all assembled together and chanted Krishna's name very loudly as they moved from one part of the forest to another, searching for him. Actually, Krishna is all-pervasive. He is in the sky and he is in the forest. He is within the heart, and he is always everywhere. The gopis therefore began to question the trees and plants about Krishna. There were various types of big trees and small plants in the forest, and the gopis addressed them, "Dear banyan tree, have you seen the son of Maharaj Nanda passing this way, laughing and playing on his flute? He has stolen our hearts and gone away. If you have seen him, kindly inform us which way he has gone. Dear Ashok tree, dear Naga flower tree, and Champaka flower tree, have you seen the younger brother of Balarama pass this way? He has disappeared because of our pride." The gopis were aware of the reason for Krishna's sudden appearance. They could understand that when they had been enjoying Krishna, they thought themselves to be the most fortunate women within the universe. And since they were feeling proud, Krishna had disappeared. Krishna had disappeared immediately, just to curb their pride. Krishna does not like his devotees to be proud of their service to him. He accepts everyone's service, but he does not like one devotee to proudly consider himself better than others. If sometimes there are such feelings, Krishna ends them by changing his attitude toward the devotee. The gopis then addressed the tulsi plants. "Dear Tulsi, you are so much beloved by Lord Krishna because your leaves are always at his lotus feet. Dear Malati flower, dear Malika flower, dear jasmine flower, all of you must have been touched by Krishna while he was passing this way, after giving us transcendental enjoyment. Have you seen Madhava passing this way? O mango trees, O trees of jackfruit, O pear trees and asana trees, O blackberries and bale trees and trees of the kadamba flower, you were all very pious trees to be living on the bank of the Yamuna. Krishna must have passed through this way. Will you kindly let us know which way he has gone? The gopis then looked upon the ground they were traversing and began to address the earth. Dear earthly planet, we do not know how many penances and austerities you must have undergone to be now living with the footprints of Lord Krishna upon you. You were very jolly. The hairs on your body are these jubilant trees and plants. Lord Krishna must have been very pleased with you. Otherwise, how could he have embraced you in the form of Varaha, the boar? When you were submerged in water, he delivered you, taking the whole weight of your existence on his tusks. After addressing the innumerable trees and plants and the earth, they turned their faces toward the beautiful deer, who were looking at them very pleasingly. It appears, they addressed the deer, that Krishna, who is the supreme Narayana himself, must have passed through this way, along with his companion, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Otherwise, how is it possible that the aroma of his garland, which is smeared with the red kumkum from the breasts of the goddess of fortune, can be perceived in the breeze blowing here? It appears that they must have passed through here and touched your bodies. Thus you are feeling so pleasant and are looking toward us with sympathy. Will you kindly therefore inform us which way Krishna has gone? Krishna is the well-wisher of Vrindavan. He is as kind to you as to us. Therefore, after leaving us, he must have been present in your company. O fortunate trees! We are thinking of Krishna, the younger brother of Balarama, while passing through here with one hand resting on the shoulder of the goddess of fortune and the other hand twirling a lotus flower. He must have been very much pleased to accept your obeisances. And he must have glanced at you with great pleasure. Some of the gopis then addressed their gopi friends. Dear friends, why don't you question these creepers who are so jubilantly embracing the big trees as if the trees were their husbands? It appears that the flowers of the creepers must have been touched by the nails of Krishna. Otherwise, how could they feel so jubilant? After searching for Krishna here and there, the gopis became fatigued, and then they began to talk like mad women. They could satisfy themselves only by imitating the different pastimes of Krishna. One of them imitated the demon Putana, and one of them imitated Krishna and sucked her breast. One gopi imitated a hand-driven cart, and the other gopi lay down beneath the cart and threw up her legs, touching the wheels of the cart, as Krishna did to kill the demon Shakatasura. One gopi imitated child Krishna and lay down on the ground, and one gopi became the demon Trinavarta and carried the small child Krishna by force into the sky. And one of the gopis began to imitate Krishna while he was attempting to walk, ringing his ankle bells. Two gopis imitated Krishna and Balarama, and many others imitated their cowherd boyfriends. One gopi assumed the form of Bakasura, and another forced her to fall down as the demon Bakasura did when he was killed. Similarly, another gopi defeated Vatsasura, just as Krishna used to call his cows by their different names. So the gopis imitated him, calling the cows by their respective names. One of the gopis began to play on a flute, and another praised her the way Krishna's boyfriends praised him while he played on his flute. One of the gopis took another gopi on her shoulders, just as Krishna used to take his boyfriends. Absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, the gopi who was carrying her friend began to boast that she herself was Krishna. All of you just see my movement. One of the gopis raised her hand with her covering garments and said, "Now don't be afraid of the torrents of rain and severe hurricanes. I'll save you." In this way, she imitated the lifting of Govardhan Hill. One gopi forcibly put her feet on the head of another gopi and said, "You rascal Kaliya, I shall punish you severely. You must leave this place. I have descended to this earth to punish all kinds of miscreants." Another gopi told her friends, "Just see, the flames of the forest fire are coming to devour us. Please close your eyes, and I shall immediately save you from this imminent danger." In this way, all the gopis were madly feeling the absence of Krishna. They inquired from him about the trees and plants. They inquired about him from the trees and plants. In some places they found the imprints of the marks on the soles of his feet, namely the flag, the lotus flower, the trident, the thunderbolt, etc. After seeing those footprints, they exclaimed, "Oh, here is the impression of the marks on the soles of Krishna's feet." All the marks, such as the flag, the lotus flower, the trident, and the thunderbolt, are distinctly visible here. They began to follow the footprints, and shortly they saw another set of footprints beside him, and immediately they became very sorry. Dear friends, just see, whose are these other footprints? They are beside the footprints of the son of Maharaj Nanda. It is certainly Krishna passing through, resting his hand on some other gopi, exactly as an elephant goes side by side with his beloved mate. We must therefore understand that this particular gopi served Krishna with greater affection, with greater affectionate love than ourselves. Because of this, although he has left us, he could not leave her company. He has taken her along with him. Dear friends, just imagine how the dust of this place is transcendently glorious. The dust of the lotus feet of Krishna is worshipped even by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. But at the same time, we are very sorry that this particular gopi has gone along with Krishna, for she is enjoying the nectar of Krishna's kisses and leaving us aside to lament. Oh friends, just see. At this particular spot, we do not see the footprints of that gopi. It appears that because there were some pinpricks from the dried grass, Krishna took Radharani on his shoulder. Oh, she is so dear to him. Krishna must have picked some flowers in this spot to satisfy Radharani. Because here, where he stood erect to get the flowers from the high branches of the tree, we find only half the impression of his feet. Dear friends, just see how Krishna must have sat down here with Radharani and tried to set flowers in her hair. You can be certain that both of them sat together here. Krishna is self-sufficient. He has nothing to enjoy from any other source. Yet just to satisfy his devotee, he treated Radharani exactly as a lusty boy treats his girlfriend. Krishna is so kind that he always tolerates the disturbances created by his girlfriends. In this way, the gopis pointed out the faults of the particular gopi who had been taken alone by Krishna. They said that this chief gopi, Radharani, must be very proud of her position, thinking herself the greatest of the gopis. Yet how could Krishna take her away alone, leaving all of us aside, unless she is extraordinarily qualified and beautiful? She must have taken Krishna into the deep forest and told him, "My dear Krishna, I am now very tired. I cannot go any further. Please carry me wherever you like." When Krishna was spoken to in this way, he might have told Radharani, "All right, better get on my shoulder." But immediately, Krishna must have disappeared. And now Radharani must be lamenting for him. "My dear lover, my greatest, my dearest, you are so fine and so powerful. Where have you gone? I am nothing but your most obedient maidservant. I am very much aggrieved. Please come and be with me again." Krishna, however, is not coming to her. He must be watching her from a distant place and enjoying her sorrow. All the gopis then went further and further into the forest, searching out Krishna. But when they learned that actually Radharani was left alone by Krishna, they became very sorry. This is the test of Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, they were a little envious that Krishna had taken Radharani alone, leaving aside all the other gopis. But as soon as they knew that Krishna had also left Radharani, and that she alone was alone, lamenting for him, they became more sympathetic to her. The gopis found Radharani and heard everything from her about how she had misbehaved with Krishna and how she was proud and was insulted for her pride. After hearing all this, they became actually very sympathetic. Then all the gopis, including Radharani, proceeded further into the forest until they could no longer see the moonlight. When they saw that it was getting gradually darker, they stopped. Their mind and intelligence became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. They all imitated the activities of Krishna and his speeches. Due to their heart and soul being completely given to Krishna, they began to chant his glories, completely forgetting their family interests. In this way, all the gopis returned to the bank of the Yamuna and assembled there, and expecting that Krishna must return to them, they simply engaged in chanting the glories of Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 30th chapter of Krishna, Krishna's hiding from the gopis. And here we are, it's 7:47, almost 7:50. Last night we went until 9 o'clock because I forgot how long the introduction to Rasa Dance was. So now I need to know how long chapter 31 is. I can't remember. Can you tell?
It's short, yeah.
Huh?
Can do it.
It's short. We can do it. Okay, we'll move on. I've gotten the direction of my colleagues. Chapter 31. Songs by the gopis. One gopi said, "My dear Krishna, ever since you took your birth in this land of Brajabhumi, everything appears to be glorious. the land of Vrindavan has become glorious. And it is as if the goddess of fortune is personally always existing here. But it is only we who are very unhappy, because we are searching for you but cannot see you with our greatest effort. Our life is completely dependent upon you. Therefore, we request that you again come to us. Another gopi said, "My dear Krishna, you are the life and soul even of the lotus flower that grows on the water of lakes made transparent by the clear rains of autumn. Although the lotus flowers are so beautiful, without your glance, they fade away. Similarly, without you, we are also dying. Actually, we are not your wives, but are your slaves. You never spent any money for us, yet we are simply attracted by your glance. Now, if we die without receiving your glance, you'll be responsible for our deaths. Certainly the killing of women is a great sin, and if you do not come to see us and we die, you will suffer the reactions of sin. So please come see us. Do not think that one can be killed only by certain weapons. We are being killed by your absence. You should consider how you are responsible for killing women. We are always grateful to you because you have protected us many times from the poisonous water of the Yamuna, from the serpent Kaliya, from Bakasura, from the anger of Indra and his torrents of rain, from the forest fire, and so many other incidents. You are the greatest and most powerful of all. It is wonderful for you to protect us from so many dangers, but we are surprised that you are neglecting us at this moment. Dear Krishna, dear friend, we know very well that you are not actually the son of Mother Yashoda or the cowherd man Nanda Maharaj. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supersoul of all living entities. You have, out of your own causeless mercy, appeared in this world, requested by Lord Brahma for the protection of the world. It is by your kindness only that you have appeared in the dynasty of Yadu. O best of the dynasty of Yadu, if anyone afraid of this materialistic way of life takes shelter at your lotus feet, you never deny him protection. Your movements are sweet, and you are independent, touching the goddess of fortune with one hand, and in the other bearing a lotus flower. That is your extraordinary feature. Please, therefore, come before us and bless us with the lotus flower in your hand. Dear Krishna, you are the killer of all the fears of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. You are the supremely powerful hero, and we know that you can kill the unnecessary pride of your devotee, as well as the pride of women like us, simply by your beautiful smile. We are simply your maidservants and slaves. Please, accept us by showing us your beautiful lotus-like face. Dear Krishna, actually, we have become very lusty, having been touched by your lotus feet. Your lotus feet certainly kill all kinds of sinful activities of devotees who have taken shelter there. You are so kind that even the ordinary animals take shelter under your lotus feet. Your lotus feet are also the residence of the goddess of fortune, yet you danced on the heads of the Kaliya serpent with them. Now we are requesting you to kindly place your lotus feet on our breasts and pacify our lusty desires to touch you. O Lord, your attractive eyes, like the lotus, are so nice and pleasing. Your sweet words are so fascinating that they please even the greatest scholars, who also become attracted to you. We are also attracted by your speaking and by the beauty of your face and eyes. Please, therefore, satisfy us by your nectarian kisses. Dear Lord, words spoken by you or words describing your activities are full of nectar. And simply by speaking or hearing your words, one can be saved from the blazing fire of material existence. Great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are always engaged in chanting the glories of your words. They do so to eradicate the sinful activities of all living entities in the material world. If one simply tries to hear your transcendental words, he can very quickly be elevated to the platform of pious activities. For the Vaishnavas, your words give transcendental pleasure, and saintly persons who are engaged in distributing your transcendental message all over the world are first-class charitable persons. This was confirmed by Rupa Goswami when he addressed Lord Chaitanya as the most munificent incarnation, because he distributed the words of Krishna and love of Krishna free of charge all over the world. Dear Krishna, the Gopis continued, you are very cunning. You can imagine how much we are distressed simply by remembering your cunning smile, your pleasing glance, your walking with us in the forest of Vrindavan, and your auspicious meditations. Your talks with us in lonely places were heartwarming. Now we are all aggrieved to remember your behavior. Please save us. Dear Krishna, certainly you know how much we are saddened when you go out to the Vrindavan, out of Vrindavan village to tend the cows in the forest. How we are afflicted simply to think that your soft lotus feet are being pricked by the dry grass and the tiny stones in the forest. We are so attached to you that we always think simply of your lotus feet. O Krishna, when you return from the pasturing ground with the animals, we see your face covered with your curly hair and dusted by the hoof dust of the cows. We see your mildly smiling face, and our desire to enjoy you increases. O dear Krishna, you are the supreme lover, and you always give shelter to surrendered souls. You fulfill everyone's desire. Your lotus feet are worshipped even by Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe. On whoever worships your lotus feet, you without a doubt always bestow your benedictions. So kindly be pleased with us and keep your lotus feet on our breasts and thus relieve our present distresses. Dear Krishna, we are seeking your kisses, which you offer even to your flute. The vibration of your flute enchants the whole world, and our hearts also. Kindly, therefore, return and kiss us with your mouth of nectar. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 31st chapter of Krishna, songs by the Gopis. All glories to the Gopis' love for Krishna, fully surrendered souls, with no desire for their own lusty pleasure, simply to please Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, this is the apex of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Krishna's pastimes. And it's very intimate, but Srila Prabhupada's translation and summary study in English gives it to us in such an innocent and pure way that if we hear it without becoming lusty, the lust in our hearts will become purified. If you hear these things and begin to feel lusty, then for the time, stop reading and read other instructions of Krishna, other pastimes of Krishna, Krishna's incarnations. These pastimes are meant to attract us back to Krishna and back to his original abode, Goloka Vrindavan. But we cannot hear them actually until our hearts are free from lust. But it seems contradictory, but these pastimes are the only pastimes that can actually fully remove all the lust, and yet they have to be fully removed first before you can fully hear them. So it seems like a conundrum, but it's not, because these pastimes are fully spiritual and fully transcendental and capable of purifying anyone. Those who go directly to these pastimes without hearing the first 9 cantos carefully and assimilating who Krishna is and what his powers are, just like the Gopis are repeatedly remembering how he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And yet they love him just like an ordinary lover. They see those words, but they're not thinking at the same time. They can't accept him as the Supreme Personality. Therefore they chastise him. And Krishna enjoys those chastising words. You're so cruel. Don't you know you're killing us? Killing women will be sinful. You're going to be sinful. Don't do this. Krishna is more pleased by those chastisements than he is in all the Vedic hymns being chanted by all the Brahmanas in the universe. Okay, Hare Krishna. I'll stop here, and here, after those little reflections of mine, we'll hear the reflections of the devotees out there in cyberspace. Hare Krishna. Don't forget the microphone. Before we hear Abhai's voice, I would like to deeply, deeply thank Shyam Kishore for filling in for Abhay all these months. Do you realize it's been 4 months?
I feel like I was here
since we've been together? Yes, it feels like just yesterday. And we've become very close and very, very nice, affectionate relationship, service relationship. And we'll miss you, but at the same time, we know where he's going. He's going to London to distribute Prabhupada's books like a madman. And there's something going on in London, something revolutionary, and he's going to be a part of it. Hare Krishna. Okay, my dear Abhay, Das Brahmachari.
First is a comment from Gopakanya.
Gopakanya Devidasi, yes.
She says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj and all friends. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and your daily readings of Sri Krishna Katha.
Hare Krishna, thank you. The pleasure is all ours.
From Bhakti Noel.
Bhakti Noel.
She says, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sridevi Dasi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So nice to hear all of these regular attenders, huh? It's so nice.
Bhakta Rupa Das.
Hare Krishna Bhakta Rupa.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Bhakta Rupa. He was Bhakta Ben before, just in case, Abhay doesn't know, since you got initiated, he wasn't here. Hare Krishna. In Wales, Sankirtan devotee.
This is a comment from Ananda Murti Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Ananda Murti.
She says, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hari Bol.
I understand that suffering is needed, and suffering for Krishna is the perfection of life. Otherwise, if I feel I am with Krishna, then I become puffed up very easily.
Hare Krishna. She's learned the lessons. She's learning the lessons. Yes. Abhay has something to say.
I just highlighted this that you read. So all the gopis then went further and further into the forest searching out Krishna. But when they learned that actually Radharani was left alone by Krishna, they became very sorry. This is the test of Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, they were a little envious that Krishna had taken Radharani alone, leaving aside all the other gopis. But as soon as they knew that Krishna had also left Radharani and that she was also lamenting for him, they became more sympathetic to her. I was just wondering about how he says this is the test of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, because when there is actually freedom from envy, then when we see someone getting special favor, it makes us feel good. But they thought like that, but they didn't feel like that all the time. They stopped feeling like that as they saw when the devotee was having difficulty. So this is not ordinary envy. It's envy that turns into love and affection for a person who is feeling badly. It's para dukkha dukhi. This Lord Chaitanya defined the heart of a Vaishnava as para dukkha dukhi. Feels happiness when they see others happy and distress when they see another's distress. So the gopis' love for Krishna is completely transcendental. They can act like they're envious, but they're not. It's pure. Their envy is completely pure. And the test is, as soon as they felt like that about Radharani, that Krishna's especially treating her, then they felt envy or jealousy. But then as soon as they saw that Krishna was, that she was being left by Krishna also, and she must be feeling even worse than them, then immediately the heart went out to her. That is the test. Rather than saying, oh yes, that's right, and then continuing with that envy. Because in the material world it just keeps going on and on and on, it doesn't stop. Difference. Hare Krishna. That's all the comments we have. These pastimes are so beautiful. Devotees are getting so much ecstasy they can't speak.
From Dayal
From Dayal Nitai, Hare Krishna.
He says, Jai Shyam Kishore Prabhu, our obeisance and gratitude to you. Welcome back, dear Abhay Prabhu. Thank you, and our obeisance unto you. Hare Krishna, your servants in Belgium.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nitai, and thank you, Radhananda Devidasi, for your ongoing loyalty and your ongoing taste for hearing the pastimes of Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, Sri Krishna, wait, there's more. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivedanta, Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So this is just getting started. This is just leading up to the actual description of the rasa dance. And we will be tomorrow here at the same time, same place, tasting the nectar of the nectar of the nectar. The Bhagavatam is the nectar of all the Vedas, This 10th canto was the nectar of the Bhagavatam. The pastimes of Krishna with the Gopis are the nectar, the most essential and solidified nectar. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.